What's up, everybody? Welcome to First Takes exclusively on YouTube. I'm Stephen A. Smith here with the Mad Dog himself, Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Let's get right to it, Mad Dog. In a historic sweeping decision, Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred on Tuesday removed Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from Major League Baseball's permanently ineligible list. The all-time hit king and Jackson, both longtime baseball pariahs stained by gambling, seen as by MLB as the game's mortal sin, are now eligible for election into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Manfred ruled that MLB's punishment of banned individuals ends upon their deaths. Mad Dog, was this the right decision by Rob Manfred?
I can't stand it. And if it's about deaths, then why wasn't Joe Jackson removed from the ineligible list?
He died in 1951, I think,
yeah,
right?
2015. So how was that possible? Hold on now. Joe Jackson died in 1951?
That's why I was talking about Joe Jackson, 1951.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Right.
And furthermore, as you and I have discussed a million times, baseball is so hypocritical with this whole aspect, it drives you crazy. When they need Rose, he was there for him. On the field at the All-Star game when they celebrated 4 great players for each franchise in Cincinnati, boom, Pete wears the red jacket, he walks to the mound, gets a standing ovation. 99 World Series, and MasterCard gave baseball a fortune to promote the top 50 players deal. Rose was voted as the top 50, showed up at Atlanta Turner Field. That's when Jim Gray did the big famous interview. And, of course, Pete was part of it. Baseball, of course, now in bed, as you know, with all DraftKings and all those gambling houses. So they're trying to tell us that now, we'll make the money, but we're going to do that to Pete Rose, and we're going to keep him out. Furthermore, it would have killed baseball after 35 years not to give him a day when he was 80 years old?
Yeah.
You couldn't say, you know what, it's been long enough. One day, he deserves it. All his Hall of Fame paraphernalia is in Cooperstown anyway. We can't give him a day in Cooperstown where his 50,000 fans can celebrate the fact that he's a Hall of Fame player. We do this 5 months after he dies? I mean, come on. I mean, it doesn't make, to me, Stevie, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
It makes sense. Well, listen, it makes sense to me only from the standpoint that it illustrates their hypocrisy, because you were willing to profit off of this man for so many years. His name, image, and likeness. Baseball benefited from that exponentially. The networks benefited from that, particularly with his singles, all-time single, all-time hit streak, and what have you. I'm looking at it from the standpoint that everybody associated with the sport of baseball profited off of Pete Rose as a player. To deny him entry into the Hall of Fame all of these years as a player, when there was nothing about his gambling that was associated with him as a player, to me was egregious in and of itself. And then there's the issue of forgiveness and compassion that should exist in all of us, but certainly is appropriate to bring up in the United States of America. We see killers get second chances. We see rapists get second chances. We see all types of folks get second chances. And what type of a second chance are you talking about with Pete Rose? You're talking about a person that wanted to be remembered for what he did as a player, as a Hall of Fame player, the greatest nickname in the sport, which is Charlie Hustle. But you also wanted he wanted to be somebody that managed to earn a living with the sport that was clearly padding their pockets off of his name for decades. So the combination of both, to me, would mandate that this decision should have been made much, much earlier. They're significantly late to the party, which is always the case with baseball. They're always the last ones to the party. They're always holding on to tradition for the wrong reasons, for the self-indulgent reasons. I think this is the latest example, but damn it, at least it's happening.
Well, you can look at it that way. We'll see how the Hall of Fame handles it now, Steve, because they're going to wait 3 years before they put a committee together to decide his eligibility, which is a joke on all, 2027, which is a joke all in itself. And, the other thing that bothers me, and Rose told me this personally, so that's how I know. Remember, when his son broke into Major League Baseball as a member of the Reds.
Right.
Did you know that they did not allow Pete to go on the field and enjoy that moment when he got his first Major League hit?
Wow.
And he had to buy a ticket to go to the ball game?
Wow.
You mean to tell me you could not let Pete Rose go on the field with his son to celebrate his first ever Major League? I think it was his debut or whatever it was.
In Cincinnati.
In Cincinnati, and wouldn't let him do that? I mean, that is a disgrace. I mean, I understand. All right, we all know Cardinal sin, betting, awful. We get it. But, geez, make an exception. Yes. Have a little compassion. And baseball, that's not Manfred. That's before Manfred. Yeah. But baseball didn't do that, which drove me crazy, too. You hit 100%. They've always made a fortune on Pete. Again, for promotional convenience, The 99 World Series, I was there at the All-Star game and when they had it in, hey, Pete, come on, you're going to be voted? Come on the field, get a standing ovation. But then when they could have given Pete a day, just to have a day, fans, he's in the Hall of Fame, he deserves it. They kind of washed their hands and now he's dead. And they make this announcement. I'm sorry, it's got hypocrisy written all over it.
Yeah. And believe it or not, we didn't even bring up President Trump and how President Trump may have played a role in compelling Robert
That makes baseball look bad if that's the case.
And to me, that makes baseball look worse that the President of the United States had to step in and make his voice heard in order for you to see the error of your ways when for decades an inordinate amount of people were telling you and sharing, rather, Mad Dog's position. So I appreciate where you're coming from, buddy. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching First Take exclusively right here on YouTube. Make sure to tune in weekdays on ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern. See you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.